The following video is a tiny glimpse into a secret place, an edgeland hidden away in a suburban corner of southeast London. A truly wild place of legends and folklore, known to those that know as the Swamp. The land is owned by Network Rail and technically carries a £1,000 trespass fine, but this has never been the way of the Swamp. It's cut off on all four sides with high embankments, trees and fences screening it from view and making it an enclosed microworld, an island of wildness. The sense of history can be felt here on empty weekdays, like the land was somehow of significance at some point in time, although no map of the past few hundred years shows any clue. Farmland and then the railway and allotments during the war. Maybe the feeling comes from the stillness of the land, the fact that it has never been built upon. A little piece of the old world left to continue alone. This sense of history can also feel more like a presence, like the trees hold secrets, or someone else is here with me, just out of view. In an attempt to understand the Swamp, we will look at its various elements that when combined form its otherworldliness and status as a special wild corner. These elements include its geography and what surrounds it, such as the railway and the legendary graffiti wall. We will also explore the flora and fauna of the Swamp. We will look back at the history of the land and the centuries of detritus strewn undisturbed, decaying in the grass. But in this first chapter, we will observe the jewel of the Swamp, the mysterious pond that lies at its centre, and the small unnamed stream that feeds it.
Where the water comes out from it, just goes underground. There's no water beyond that point.
This is Martin. Martin was the first person I ever met at the Swamp and appears off and on in the footage from 2004 to 2013.
It just goes deep, deep, deep underground. It starts there and comes along. I want to show you where it peters out and all. And go to the other side.
For years I've been going down there and never saw a soul, feeling like it was my own secret. After a few years I started to notice evidence of human activity, remains of small fires, beer cans, and then a platform made of metal fencing that jutted out into the pond.
So, you get people coming over here, breaking into over there, nicking cable and all that, yeah? Ruin it. You can get through round there because, as I say, where that lump is over there, the water starts there, runs along, and it sort of comes up out the ground.
Martin was friendly and generous with his knowledge of the secret land. Him and his plucky dog Jimbo are well-known and well-loved local characters. When I first heard the name of his dog, something clicked and I remembered the small MJ or Martin and Jimbo tag I'd seen in many of the local wild corners, usually with two paw prints.
The reason it's not stagnant, this is not stagnant water. My dog swims in here when it's the summer. He loves it. All the dogs used to have a little swim in there, but if there's people fishing, obviously we don't let them. But like the water runs down on that bank down there, under that weeping willow, and it goes on for about another 150 yards, and then it kicks in about 75 yards, and then it just disappears underground.
The stream goes unnamed, but after many hours spent scrutinising old maps, it looks most likely to be the same watercourse as a stream mapped and named by the late local historian Ken White as the Hither Green branch. This stream is said to first rise in Hither Green Cemetery and fills a pond there before running a little further and disappearing under the train tracks, rising again in the far west corner of the swamp.
I'm not going any further, Jack, because this could be like a swamp and that. That's the water down there that's running from that corner. It goes all the way down, and I will show you where it peters out. Yeah, look, Jack. Jimmy, come on.
Old tyres mysteriously mark the stream's entrance and exit points.
So do we know how these tyres got here originally?
Well, this is it, like, you know, probably from when they was over here with the railway. I've been here many, many years. Many years.
– 150 years of deceased local residents, including 3 generations of my own family, lie in the grounds of the cemetery there. Leaching minerals such as iron, zinc, sulphur and phosphorus into the earth and charging the water with memory.
One of my friend's boys, my neighbour, was over there with his mates and that, and I went, Alfie, where's this so-called swamp you go on about? Of course, he couldn't wait to show us, and he took us and everything round the back way, not through there, and come over here. I thought, this ain't no fucking swamp, it's a pond. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The pond lays still and silent most days, its surface skin is pure as a mirror, embedded in the scribbles of lines and jagged edges of its banks. It is also constantly shape-shifting, fading through, changing tones like a chameleon. The lowest point of land and the heart point of the swamp, where life fluid is channeled into and out again, not beating but circulating slowly and invisibly at its depths. There are many myths and legends surrounding the pond, telling of its history and what lies below the surface. As to its origins, there are 4 main theories. The first is that it's one of the original farm ponds used for cooling the charcoal of Burnt Ash Farm. There are 2 others that were originally used for this purpose about half a mile away, but there are no signs from any old maps of the area that this pond is one of them.
I mean, you know, really I'd like to sit down with an old boy like, and who knows, you know. Oh yeah, I was an ex-railway worker and all that. He's probably in his bleeding 80s, you know what I mean? He'd probably be able to fill you right in. And he was a railway worker, like. He said back in the day they had three of these ponds, and they had a fishing club.
Right.
And this is the only one left.
Did you meet him down here?
No. It was someone who passed it on to me.
Another story I was told by a local woman who doesn't want to be on record. She said it was made illegally by a road council worker who had access to a JCB digger and created his own private fishing pond.
There used to be a couple more in there, but they got filled in.
Oh really, down here?
Apparently, I heard there was 3 of them. There was a couple more along this side, but they got filled in. Maybe 30, I don't know, years ago, 20 or 30 odd years ago. That's what I heard.
This place has been here a time immemorial, you know. I think it was formed from the Second World War when a bomb was dropped to get for the railway, which has made this crater here, you know. Yeah, back in the day and that, you know, we threw rakes out there and dredged it out. There was a mini in here, an old-fashioned mini, you know, Paddy Hopkirk, that type of mini, the one that won the Monte Carlo rally. Because you get out by that stick, it's like you're God, you're walking on water. We pulled bike frames out here, fridges and everything. Oh, God knows what, milk crates, God knows what.
The pond contains another secret. If you stay still and stare into the water long enough, you will start to see them moving below the surface. Ribbons of jewels passing between the shadows and swirling in the sun rays.
There's 5 species of fish in there. You got carp, like mirror, common, crucian. You got bream. You got roach. You got rudd. You got perch, and I've even been told that there's tench, which are a bottom feeder and that. But I've not seen anyone catch one of them yet. But all the others I have. Hello, Ernie. All right, boy.
Like I say, do you know what? I've come over here and it doesn't really matter whether I catch anything or not. Like, all this is, it gets me out of the house. But if I do catch something, it's nice. Now I'll tell you what. Come in, little fella. Let's do that. Alright, stay still.
So if I quickly film that?
You better liven up. No, it's got to go back in. Have you got it?
Cheers for that, Tony.
Good, mate.
How long the carp and other species have been here is hazy. If the story of the road council worker or the fishing club is true, then the pond could have been stocked as far back as the 70s. Martin had the earliest eyewitness account of this from around 2005.
Two old boys in their 60s, like 60, when I say 60, 61, 62, something like that. They poached them. Do you want me to tell you exactly where? They come out of Sainsbury's at the bottom of Downham Way, you know, Sainsbury's, which is like a small version of the old-fashioned Crystal Palace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got them out there, quickly put them in a canvas bag, brought them up here and stocked it, you know. And basically, I see them put two £20 carpet, mirror carpet.
And put them in.
Yeah, they put them in there, like, yeah.
Hold you, Con. When I can see them, I know where they are. So I will catch it. Oh, come back this way.
That's one.
Now look, put your finger in his mouth. Look away. So you know how to do it. Whoosh. Hold him tight.
Hold it.
Show him to the camera. Hey. Now you can put it back. Slowly. Stop it. Take your finger out of his mouth. He's gone. To live another day.
I bet there's some fish in here that go way back, you know what I mean? And the real big ones, they ain't no mugs, you know what I mean? Where they've been caught so many times, once you hook them, they just lay on their side and you just reel them in. Whereas you get one from here, even one like that, a wild carp, he will fight. And that's what you want, you know. You see there's plenty of activity out there, Jack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even when you go down the river now, you know, that's another little place that you need to go. Oh, because the river down that back of the Sainsbury's, you know the big Sainsbury's at the bottom of Bell Green? You've got Whitefoot Lane. If you went to the other side of Whitefoot Lane, just behind that, you've got a little river that runs. But it is as clear as tap water. And it's not until you know what it is that you will just see them. Big old fucking chub like this, mate. Swimming up and down the river. You can get it from the bottom of Catford, It
Right.
all runs the same way, all through Lewisham and all of that, behind the back of the Lewisham Hospital.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in there. I've looked all of that river. I've walked the whole fucking section of it.
She wants to swim, she's hot.
I was trying to film that jumping. That was great.
Good now, isn't ya? Come on. Good girl. This is railway land, and 100 yards over there is parkland, all fenced off. But the fence rotted away and there's all brambles and that. But someone went through the bushes like that and looked through and come out into another world. If this was North America, that'd be all alligators over there, because it's nothing but swamp. That is why they've not built on it. This is why it's derelict land. On the wall and that.
Alright.
Right, through here.
Right.
Jimmy, come on.
The wild swampiness of the swamp resists being filmed, providing trip hazards and bogs underfoot. The majority of its visitors aren't keen to appear on film here due to the prohibited status of the land or are seeking seclusion in some way. The swamp's wildness is hard to capture on camera too. The lens flattens the detail, blending the overlapping layers of twisted weeds and rusting metal in the grass. The name The Swamp is more accurate than I originally thought, as it's come to light in recent years that the land is ecologically rare and harbours one of the only wet forest habitats in London. Its wildness is the reason it still lies here, relatively untouched in Zone 3. Its swampy terrain has repelled building developers in the past and was fenced off by Network Rail as a groundwater drain for the surrounding area.
If we'd have come over here like in the last sort of week and that, this would have been all underwater here. Right. This is where it goes underground. Yeah. Look. You say it comes all the way along there, then it comes in here. Look. See, look, the shank moving down in there, look. See, it's all overgrown, but that is running, and it's running all the time, but there it goes underground.
Along the railway siding from the swamp, the land has since now been bought by developers. The long stretch of land is what lays between the swamp and civilization. Lewisham Council has repeatedly rejected the developers' proposals, and local groups have offered greener alternatives. But the developer's constant reapplication for planning permission means its future hangs in the balance. And therefore lightly does the fate of the swamp. With the recent renaissance in fishing and local wanderings during the COVID lockdowns means the circle that know the secret has widened a little. And as the fight for this curious piece of territory rolls on, the swamp continues to defy regulation and ownership, adapting and growing alone. Still the wildest corner.